Hey guys, welcome back to John Odd. We're going to be talking about the latest episode of The Walking Dead, episode 3 of season 10. And so far, I've got to say this is the best episode. Not that it's constantly getting better, because I think the second episode was largely unneeded. I don't know if we should be exploring the Whisperer's backstory and stuff like that. It was fine, but that's definitely more of a skippable episode if you're binge watching the series. This episode, finally we get some actual progression towards a all-out war with the Whisperers. You know, some things are actually going down. A large portion of this episode focused on Carol and how she's basically seeing ghosts, hence the title of the episode. You can say she's traumatized by the death of Henry, basically her son, or her adopted son, or you can blame the drugs she's been taking since that happened. It's kind of hard to tell. Point is though, it led to one of the creepiest scares, or I guess one of the best scares I've actually seen in The Walking Dead for the past 5 seasons, or as far back as I can remember basically. It takes place when Carol is walking around a dark hallway and all alone, and you see something that doesn't look quite like a zombie. It could be a ghost, an actual demon ghost, just like in any other horror movie. And honestly, I wouldn't mind them adding a few more sort of jump scares like that in. It definitely flicks your mind into focus when you're kind of dozing off. The Walking Dead is a very slow-paced zombie horror, basically. So a few jump scares here and there would probably do the show a lot of favor. So the big pillars that make me love this episode the most is the Carol stuff and the Negan stuff. Negan definitely is one of the shining pillars of just charisma. When there's any scene where he's involved, he's definitely the main center of attention, and why I do think that he should be maybe the one to lead the series if they ever go off script. You know, once the comics are done. AMC has repeatedly said that they're not going to be ending the show anytime soon, and they're using that in the most positive sense possible, even though I think good stories need an ending. But that's a whole other can of worms I don't want to open. Negan's little fight with Aaron and his, he comes back after looking like he ran away. They're really pushing his redemption. Of course, I do think that Negan will actually legitimately escape to go fight the Whisperers, or at least, infiltrate their camp, just in the next few episodes. If it's anything like the comic book, you're going to have, Daryl doesn't exist in the comic book, but I imagine Daryl is going to have a confrontation with Negan, because we saw that in the teaser for the season premiere. And after that, someone that's kind of obsessed or looks up to Negan is going to let him out of jail. And then Negan basically goes about and does the things in the comics, which I won't spoil here. Lauren Cohen. So Lauren Cohen, who plays Maggie, is supposed to return this season. So far, there hasn't been a lot of hint at that happening, which is kind of interesting. Also, though, Denai Guerrera, who plays Michonne, is going to be leaving this season. And you could tell they're really trying to give her proper treatment. I guess their way of doing that is making her angry all the time. And that's just something I wanted to point out. The beginning of this episode, there were so many arguments, just people being, snapping at each other, so much anger. It definitely lightened up later on with the scenes with Negan and Carol and, Aaron and all that stuff. Definitely a breath of fresh air. So all in all, this episode basically sets up the war to come. It doesn't look like the next episode's going to have a whole lot of meat to it. It's going to be more of a Lydia episode, because everyone's being a bit irrational towards any kind of Whisperers. They're making fun of her because she is the daughter of Alpha. So it's going to be that kind of episode, but the episode after that, I'm expecting to be better than this one, basically. I'll do another video breaking down that teaser just to see what we can expect, but all in all, this season is looking pretty okay. Admittedly, this is not how you would want to start your season. Don't do a Whisperer backstory episode. A lot of people did not want the governor backstory episode we got all those seasons ago, where the entire thing focused on him right before he died. It was very unnecessary. But did you see this episode, and what do you think about it? Post in the comment section below. Make sure you drop a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.